Bitcoin has failed and is not suitable as the basis for a global monetary system. It's far too volatile. Guys, what you're about to hear is really intense. The central bank of central banks, possibly the most powerful institution in the entire world, the Bank of International Settlements, is now releasing its new global economic report. And it's really something. Not only is Bitcoin being massively framed here, but they're also talking about the ultimate goal of CBDCs. They're even talking here about programmable features. In other words, programmable money is coming. What I've been speculating about for a long time is now confirmed right here. Guys, we're getting rug pulled here. Of course, I took a look at the whole thing. And it's not just that Bitcoin is being massively framed here. Here, Bitcoin is being portrayed as really bad money and well, yeah, we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. But there are also things being said here that should set off all your alarm bells. They're talking about CBDCs as the ultimate goal here. So it's absolutely clear here. The Bank for International Settlements, basically the central bank of central banks, maybe the most powerful institution in the world, makes it very clear. Decentralized monetary systems, private monetary systems are to be banned, are simply not acceptable, are basically to be fought against, and central CBDCs are the ultimate goal here. So you already know what's coming our way. And just to make it clear again, the Bank for International Settlements basically stands above the Federal Reserve, above the ECB, above the Swiss National Bank, and so on. That means we have all these central banks, which are basically like independent states or however you want to call them. They already stand above the law. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to sue the ECB or something like that. And then, above all that, there's the Bank for International Settlements, which stands above the ECB, above the Federal Reserve, above the US Central Bank, and there are no rules there. Well, maybe there are rules, but you basically can't influence those rules. These are all people who haven't been elected. These are all people who are simply appointed. And they're also, completely untouchable. It's like, for us, the same rules apply to everyone, but they're basically in an ivory tower way above us, and they can just do whatever they want. Now, maybe to break it down really simply, let's take a look at the whole thing. This report is really hard-hitting. Seriously, there are things coming out in it that just make you shake your head. So go ahead and hit the like button below if you want to see Bitcoin prevail here, if you want to see freedom prevail. This is so important right now, because if this doesn't make it into the mainstream, if people don't get it, then this agenda will just be carried out. I've told you so many times before, and now we're seeing it here in black and white. It was always called a conspiracy theory, and now we're seeing it here in black and white. So guys, get ready. We're going to dive into it now. First, it says here that stablecoins are a systemic risk. They do not benefit from the regulatory requirements and protections applying to bank deposits and e-money. So stablecoins are being framed as dangerous, because there's also a fear that a lot of money will probably flow into the US dollar through stablecoins. That means they don't want stablecoins, but instead, they clearly want to push a CBDC forward. Central bank currencies, yes, digital central bank currency. That's how you have to say it. Central bank digital currency. Now, pay attention. It continues here. Here, next quote. And these are really quotes. I'll also put the link down below. You can check all of this yourselves. I'm not making anything up here. Everything is taken one-to-one from the report. Bitcoin and DeFi as a threat to financial stability. DeFi and unbacked crypto have proven highly volatile, unsuitable as the basis for the future monetary system. So, stated here that unbacked cryptocurrencies. And what is fiat money? Isn't fiat money also an unbacked currency? Fiat. So unbacked cryptocurrencies, which here are DeFi, meaning they're decentralized, have turned out not to be a good foundation for a monetary system. There are no sources linked, there's no study behind it, and so on. They just threw this out there as a thesis. I'd really be interested in seeing the evidence for that. There has never actually been a case in history where we've had Bitcoin as the basis of a monetary system. We're still on the fiat money standard, even though I'd personally love to see the Bitcoin standard already. But we're still on the fiat money standard. So, they're clearly lying straight to our faces here. They're basically creating facts here that don't even exist yet. Besides, Bitcoin actually has much more potential here as the basis for a functioning monetary system, simply because it's not based on debt, because it's not a Ponzi scheme. Then they want to use tokenization as a tool for control. Tokenization allows central banks and regulators to have better visibility and control over asset flows. And that's what it's all about. They want control over asset flows. They're spelling it out for you in black and white, folks. Everything we've been speculating about is now being confirmed here. These are no longer conspiracy theories. No, here the central banks and the central bank of central banks. They want to control your money flows. Here, CBDCs are the ultimate goal. A unified ledger with tokenized CBDCs and assets can remove frictions in financial markets and enable new types of transactions. So here, if we have centralized, surveillable systems, and a tokenized CBDC layer, then supposedly this brings more efficiency into the market. Of course, that's just bullshit talk. We can supposedly eliminate frictions here, destroy obstacles, and we have new types of transactions, new possibilities to carry out transactions. So this is just a complete smokescreen. And you can see the direction this is heading. I mean, we've been seeing it all along, but now the direction we're heading in, it's just accelerating more and more, and now it's being talked about openly. It's no longer being done secretly behind the scenes. Like, maybe we'll do some experiments. No, no, no. Black on white. We can see everything right here. Here, tokenization equals a totalitarian infrastructure. Programmable. And here it is. Programmable features allow tokens to execute preset conditions. Guys, I've always told you, programmable money is coming. Here's an example. Limiting usage by time, purpose, or user group. Haven't I always told you? I've always said that CBDCs will ultimately lead to the introduction of programmable money, to the introduction of expiring money, to the realization of the Orwellian dream, the Orwellian surveillance dream. And people always said, no, 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 none of that will happen. It won't be that bad. And the central banks, they've got everything under control and blah, blah, blah. No, we're seeing it here in black and white. They're going overboard here. They're crossing every line. And maybe at first they introduced it gradually, using the salami tactic. And the worst part is, people don't even read this report. No one even realizes what's going on here. They're publishing their agenda now, the one I'm raising the alarm about. No one is raising the alarm. First of all, people don't get it because they don't understand what tokenization is. Programmable features. I don't know. Maybe they can't even read, or maybe they don't know English, or whatever. Or maybe they're just too lazy, too busy here, doing their thing. Yeah, that's what people are busy with. Here, please watch the news and eat your bratwurst. That's what people do. But what they really should be doing is taking this in and then preparing themselves accordingly. They should be making preparations here. I'm telling you, I've been telling you for a long time. Preparations, for example, mean dealing with the financial system, subscribing to the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. And also getting into Bitcoin. The problem is that this is so dystopian. And it's sometimes really hard to stay focused because there are so many extreme things included that I don't want to forget anything here. Here, it still serves criticism of banks, but not of the fiat system here. Tokenization offers the chance to rebuild financial architecture, mitigating risk from current financial intermediaries. Also, poorly pronounced, the intermediaries here. So they're just shifting things here. If you just say, yeah, the banks messed up, but the fiat money system itself is already a misleading construct. And the banks are basically just one player here, not the root cause, but more like a symptom or something like that. They're also, once again, basically driven by incentives from the fiat money system. Just keep saying it's an attack on cash and privacy. CBDCs could allow for more precise monetary policy transmission to households. So basically, they can control you even more here. They can manipulate households, household finances, even more easily here. Interest rate manipulation, helicopter money at the push of a button, cash control. And Bitcoin is basically the escape route here. They're saying it straight up. Hey, we want to control cash here. We want even more instruments of control here. CBDCs. As if this was somehow something great for the people. And this is just one of those statements that really hits you in the gut. You could just right here. I don't have anything here I could click on or anything, but we could just bust out a few little dances right here. No, of course she's not going to bust out any dances. No, that's not what I mean, of course. We'd rather just buy Bitcoin or something. Or just buy Bitcoin and express yourselves that way. Here, central banks must be at the heart of innovation in the monetary system. So, the central banks have to be at the heart of the monetary system. Guys, that's just nonsense. Oh man, where have we ended up? What kind of statements are these? And some people even nod along and say, it's okay, we need even more central banks. Now the heart has to be here. No, the heart should be something limited, something finite, something decentralized, something that can't just be corrupted. That's the whole point. We don't need people here dictating monetary policy to us. With Bitcoin, we already have a fully defined system where basically everyone can participate democratically and, so to speak, co-govern, where you can't just be overruled by some clowns. Here, pseudoscientific rhetoric. Tokenization could unleash a virtuous circle of innovation, efficiency, and transparency. Bullshit, just bullshit. Here, fear of alternative coordinated smear campaigns. Crypto has failed here to deliver on its promise and poses risks to investors and markets. Yeah, sure. Bitcoin and crypto have failed here, but the dollar hasn't failed. The euro hasn't failed. If we look at them as stores of value or something like that, and there are risks for investors and so on. Yeah, and if you save in euros, of course, then there are no risks here, obviously. So yeah, I don't know, guys. What can you even say about this? I'm honestly just speechless so far. And it's just this mix of intense Bitcoin bashing or crypto bashing, and then suddenly shilling for CBDCs again. So here, programmable money can embed rules to prevent misuse and ensure compliance. So we need programmable money here to prevent misuse. Like saying, okay, but that's just more bullshit, you know? They just say, okay, we need to make sure it's not used the wrong way. And who actually gets to define what's right and wrong? Wrong could mean, for example, if you did the wrong thing, ate the wrong food, thought the wrong thoughts, wore the wrong clothes, or hung out with the wrong people, then we have to keep in mind in the background that maybe money will be made programmable so that any misuse can simply be punished consistently. That's what's so awesome about Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you're green, white, red, blue, black, or even if you're a total jerk. Who cares? The same rules apply to you as to someone over there in a dandelion leaf, or if you're a donkey, or an alien, or a monkey, or a snake, or whatever other animals there might be. Here, decentralization is unwanted. The future of the monetary system must be built on trust in central banks. Absolute bullshit. Where are the sources? Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Of course, there's nothing at all, as usual. Just throwing out some random statement again. As long as it's all about centralization here, and as long as we keep pushing this nanny state and control state agenda. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if it's even smart to go through all this stuff anymore. It just puts you in a bad mood. Here, real-time monitoring of asset flows. They want to monitor you in real time, not with any kind of delay. No, everything is supposed to work in real time. Here, pilot programs for CBDCs, tokenization, and assets are underway in over 50 countries. There are already all these surveillance programs, these pilot programs being introduced, and they're even proud of it here. Then we have here, privately issued money must be strictly regulated or phased out. So you can see here, private money is supposed to be phased out, which basically means it's going to be banned here. I mean, I said earlier that they didn't say banned, but now I'm actually noticing it right here. Basically, it's a demand here to ban private money. Not just Bitcoin, but also stablecoins and anything else that's private. And now the big question for you all. This is the quiz question. Why are they allowed to ban private money here? Why are they allowed to do that? And why are they allowed to print money? And why aren't we allowed to do that? Why are they basically ranked above us in the hierarchy? Why are they allowed to make rules here that we don't get to have a say in? And why don't we have any say in the matter? That's the big question you have to answer for me. That means there are people who can simply decide there can't be any private money, nothing decentralized, and everything has to be centralized. And there's little you can do about it, except maybe buy and hold Bitcoin. Or of course make videos like this and, well, share that knowledge. Of course, it's also a matter of awareness. If people just go along with it, well, then it works too. Here, private money is exactly what's being delegitimized. Privately issued money must be strictly regulated or phased out. Oh, we've already had all of this here. Smart contracts enforce usage conditions autonomously. So they even want to automate the conditions attached to money to make the whole thing even more efficient. That way, you could easily say, okay, all the green people, or everyone who has eaten too much meat, no longer gets access to their bank account or gets worse interest rates or something like that. And then here, yeah, central bank-led infrastructures are the cornerstone of financial stability. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard, guys. I'm about to puke. Honestly, this is always fun. Actually, I'm not doing that badly. I'm actually always doing really well. I just kind of manifest myself into the video, you know. When I turn off this video, I just jump right back into complaining or something, and then I feel fine again. I've got an awesome interview coming up. I'm really looking forward to it. So don't let stuff like this, how do you say, ruin your day. Of course, we have to take a look at it. But we all know, hey, the more they go after Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin is going to win. And the coolest and most powerful thing we can do is to be in our own strength, to be in harmony, to be in love. They basically want to frame us here. They want to push us into a corner, and so on. But hey, screw it. Laugh, be happy, go see your friends, hug your mom, your friends, or whoever, or just random people, I don't know. I'm not really the hugging type either. Or give them flowers or whatever you can do. Maybe give them some fruit or something. Look, back there are. Oh, you can't even see it. Back there are nettle seeds now. Go pick some nettle seeds and give them to someone or something. Or send them to the central bank. Or, like I already said, maybe we should send them a few enema kits. Maybe then they'll start thinking straight again. Because they're really lost right now. Bitcoin could be a solution here. Or rather, Bitcoin isn't just a solution here. In my opinion, it is the solution. If you still want to buy Bitcoin, I'll put a link for you below to 21 Bitcoin. Here you can easily buy Bitcoin now. And with the code BitcoinHotel, you can get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. Absolutely recommend it. Guys, see you soon. Until then, peace out.